Hello, welcome to the stream. Um, hello, Alexis. I'm a bear that you're just a bear that I used to know. That's right, just like the song, right? I have to be careful about saying your name because my Bezos box just lit up just then. I hope you're doing well. So I played this game, like the demo of this game, and it was like featured on Steam. I really got into it. Yeah, it's a interesting. I guess at the heart of it, it's a programming game, but you're basically trying to create like these little 3D models, and they're kind of cute. And yeah, you do that by writing programming code. And in my life, a very long time ago, that's how I used to make. That's how I used to make salmon, making the money. I used to write code and get money. So I'll model you like one of your French cubes. Yeah, I'll try and do that. Yes, I like the I like the graphic style of this. It's very blocky. It's very Minecraft, isn't it? Yeah, so it's been a long time since I programmed, so I have to see if I still know how to do things. And when I did try the demo, I wasn't sure what programming language it was because it wasn't one that I was familiar with, so it was something that I had to get used to. Okay, so the general idea is that there's a space, and then we've got to recreate the space using code. Yeah, each of these is a voxel. Yeah, is what they're saying. I'm not explaining it well. So there's different colors we can fill it in with, and if we assign it a 0, it'll be blank. But if it's any one of these numbers, it'll be a voxel with a certain color. And then to create objects, you will write code to decide the value of each voxel. What the code does is it goes into each space and then it runs your little program. So you can see this one, it just says return a certain number and it'll fill the entire space up because it runs through every space and just goes return that number. So that's probably more complicated than, like, in terms of the explanation than it needs to be, but yeah, just treat it like diamond painting, where I'm chill and doing something, and we don't have to use too much brain power, I don't think. Yeah, okay, and this is the explanation I was saying before. Your code is not only run one time, it's run separately for each voxel in the object area. So in this space, it's run 27 times because it's a 3x3x3 space. I think I'm losing everybody. So each voxel can be identified by its X, Y, and Z location. So you get a variable to work with each time the voxel gets run. Yeah, and that's explaining the same thing. When your code is run, special variables X, Y, and Z are preset with the location of that voxel. So really your code is the answer to the question, what is the value of the voxel at X, Y, Z? There you go. They explained it better than me. Here is a slightly more complex example. You can see that the code returns different values depending on X, Y, Z. Yeah, so you can see, like, if X equals 0, then return 7. So yeah, it's this fat slice here. So if X happens to be 0 on this axis, then make it pink. And then alternatively, if Y is 0, then return 10, which is green. So you can see how it's sliced like that. And if Z is equal to 0, which is the depth axis, then return 13, which is blue. There you go. So there it is. That's if that doesn't make sense, that's okay. I'm supposed to be good at this because I used to do this for a living, but you can just see me try and figure things out, and the geeky programming code, don't worry too much about it. Alright, so we've got some email. Somebody sent us some emails. Ooh, welcome to Replicube. That's nice. We can do some tutorials. Ooh, here's the startup tutorial. This is interesting. So this is the reference object. This is what we're trying to create, and this is what our code currently does. I did not see this in the demo. So it says return purple. So you don't have to say return 6 anymore. You can just say straight up returning purple. Okay. Well, we have a simple answer to that. If we knew what the okay, and they've got that's cool. So we don't have to say a certain number anymore. We can just say what the color is. I'm breaking your brain. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I wouldn't worry too much about programming. It's just yeah. Don't worry too much about it. Programming is something that takes a certain mindset, I think. So to solve this one, we could try whatever this color is, red. So we can just go return red. Okay, so that was easy. So they changed the way the tutorial made it so you had to go return 7. Yeah, but now we have access to this this I don't know what they would call it in this language, but it's like a keyword. Okay, so we successfully did the thing. Let's go back to the tutorials list. So Alexis, you weren't good at STEM, just science, technology, engineering, and maths. So you're just good at the maths. Nice. All right, here we go. So this one, we've got basically like a different kind of like a sponge cake, let's say. A sponge cake with some icing, purple icing. Alright, so our current code does already something similar, except the sponge is green. So let's make the first step saying how thick the layer is, and we'll set that correctly. So the icing is too thick in this one, so let's it says if y is greater than -2, then make it dark blue. Otherwise, make it light green. So the first thing we should do is make it this color. So what's that color? Orange. I think it wants capital letters. All right, so we've got the right color. Now let's change this y value. So that would probably, if it's greater than 1, I think. Nope. It's greater than, it should be greater than 0. Hooray! There we go. Alright, so we've got like another sponge cake type thing going here. So in the comments it says you can use many different conditions to compare numbers. Here's a quick list. Okay, so these are like the standard programming operators. Oh, okay, so this one's not equal to. Alright, that's a little different. Usually in programming you would use exclamation point equals for that. So I'm not sure what language they're getting inspiration from for that one. you can try changing the comparisons to solve this one. Alright, okay. Alright, so I think what would be good is if we make the default green. And let's make that one yellow. Okay, so now, so Alexis, you say you passed AP Bio with a 5. So you guess you were good at science and maths. I don't know the American system, so I'm not sure what AP Bio. Oh wait, AP? I don't know what the AP is, and I don't know what 5 is relative to things in general. Sorry. Is that a good score? I know you're very smart, so and you have an interest in science. Okay, so let's start with if y is greater than 1, yeah. If y is greater than 1, then let's return red. So okay, we've already got part of what we want, and then we can nest our code in here. Oh, they're giving comments to solve the problem, but I'm not even using it. Just deleting it. Okay, and then if y is greater than... Oh, okay, so we need to know else if y is greater than -2. Did that work? If y is greater than 1, return red. Do I put the end here? Or do I put... Oh, okay, there we go. I only needed one end. Alright, yeah, I'm not familiar with this programming language. There we go. Oh, you're making a dirty joke. Alright, I got you. You're good at science and maths. That's what I put into my brain. Alright, here we go. So this one's interesting. So it says it's got lots of different colors, but it seems like we've got like a 7-tier sponge cake, and it looks like all of the colors are actually correct already. So I think we're fine in terms of the return value. And in here, it looks like it's turned part of the cake black. But what we actually want to do is cut a hole in the cake. So it seems like they've given us a bit of a demo here of doing that. So what we can do is, instead of making the cake black, we can return 0, and that will actually cut part of the cake out. And the only thing we need to change is how much of the cake we cut. So this is the code that does it. If x is greater or equal to 2 and z is equal to greater than 2, then return 0. Okay, so we just need to make that -2, I think. No, that's too much. -1. Am I looking at the right axis? Great. Oh, 0? Is it 0? There we go. It's 0. And then x, probably the same thing. There we go. We can cut things out of the cake. Very nice. Okay, so A's are 10s out of 100 4-point scale. AP classes advanced placement were graded on a 5-point scale. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think what I have heard is if you do well in school in the US, you get a 4.0. So I didn't realize there was a 5.0 too. So there's a separate test at the end of the year for AP classes. 5 being the top score. Gave you college credit. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think when I was going through university, I was doing a STEM degree. It was like aerospace engineering and software development. And I needed to pick a few other subjects to, like, they were like electives. And I was kind of sick of doing like all STEM related stuff. So I picked, one of them was like government, business and society or something. And another one was, it was so left field. It was like art appreciation or something like that. They're pretty cool. Ooh, best viewers. Nice. Alright, let's go to the next one. Okay, so it says conditions can be combined. Use keywords like and or. Alright, so what we want is like a bubblegum ball at the top. And what we're currently producing is a, let's say like a rice stick. So let's change the color as our first thing. Alright, we got pink. Alright, so in order to make it on the edge like that, this says y equals rather than y greater than, so we want it to be multiple cubes. Let's change that. And we'll change the one for x as well. Alright, that's not bad. It's getting closer. So then we need another one for z too. There we go. We made our bubblegum ball. Okay, so this one we're learning about ABS. ABS can be used to return the absolute value of a number. Absolute value is positive size of a number. The absolute value of -5 is 5, for example. Okay, so this is like... You saw my tag? VTuber. Okay, so we can use absolute values for symmetry around an axis. So that's pretty cool. It looks like we need to create a hashtag symbol, but what we've got is like a TIE fighter right now. So let's set the what axis is that? Let's set the x-axis to 2. Alright, so we've got part of that. And then we will probably want another one in the y-axis. Nice. So we've got our hashtag, but now the hashtag's like too thick, so we've got to like cut it. And in order to do that, okay, so we need to make sure that if absolute of z is less than 2, there we go. So yeah, we just needed to make sure that the z depth is also less than 2 to make it the right thickness. There you go. I'm probably going too fast, I don't know. I didn't want to make this like a programming tutorial though, because I'm sure people who are interested already know. But this is just more a diamond painting with code kind of thing. You just heard make it thick and stop listening. We hear what we want to hear, I think. Okay, what's this one? Lua error syntax. Oh, okay, so this is the Lua programming language. I didn't know that was what it was using. I've actually never used Lua before. And in fact, it kind of reminds me a little bit of... There's another one called Basic. Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to keep this not too saucy. Okay. So line 13 it says end expected to close if at line 10 near if. Oh, okay. Alright, so we're missing an end. Okay. So this is kind of like a weird 2x2 Rubik's Cube. It looks like the only thing wrong is this section here. So what is this? What is this color? Gray. And gray we need to turn into red. There we go. Easy. Very smart. Right, this is one interesting real life model that we've got. We gotta roll our sushi, but using mathematics. Alright. So I think the first thing we could do is we could put our seaweed wrap around it. So to do that, we can say if absolute x is equal to green, and wait, no. My brain just stopped working. If the absolute value of 2 is equal to... If the absolute value of x is equal to 2, then return green. There you go. That's our start. Alright, so we've rolled our sushi roll a little bit. And now we've got to put the top on it. So this is the y value, right? Look at that. We've rolled our sushi. Alright, now we got to put our salmon in between. You got to put our tuna. So the tuna is if x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0, then return, what's this value? Pink? Red. Hooray! Hungry for sushi? You want some kapamaki? Is that a Hawaiian sushi roll? I'm not sure if the Hawaiian sushi is good. I did try... there was one place when I went to Vegas, and it had like certainly Hawaii inspired stuff, because I think they do like spam meat is actually quite popular, and egg. Kepamaki is tuna and tekamaki is cucumber. Ah, okay. You know your sushi. Alexis. Alright, so this looks like a cup. Like a... just like a Japanese teacup, if we were to continue on with the theme. Tekka is tuna. Okay, gotcha. Alright, so what they want to do is... it seems like they want to write the code so that if we determine if it's an empty space here, and if it's not an empty space, then we make it the clay pot outside. So that's brown. Let's make it brown. Alright. So in order to make it, we want it empty if if the absolute value of y is greater than -2. Let's see what we get here. I think I did something wrong. Oh, okay, I don't need the absolute value of y. Okay, just y. There you go. -3. Alright, so we've got our base. Base of our cup. Hey, Summer, hello. Welcome. How are you doing? I'm doing some nerdy programming game here. We've been making sushi. We've been, let's see. We've made sponge cake. So it's fun. This is still the tutorial, so the shapes are going to be pretty easy to make. I'm trying to make this cup here, but I've got the base. Okay. Okay, so I think that's the first step. So we've got our base, and next we want to know if x, yeah, now we want to know the absolute value. So if absolute value is equal to 3, and we want to also do this inside of here. Is that right? Not equal to 3. Function shift. Did I do that right? No. So if it's the bottom layer, oh, okay, wait. Yeah, I needed it in here. So if it's yeah, they're doing it like reverse to how I would normally think about this problem. So they say that if it's less than 3, create a bottom layer. Alright, that's fine. But if it's not less than 3, let's go. If it's not less than, oh, why is that affecting the other part? That's alright. Let's start again. I don't like I don't like that. I'll do it. I'm gonna do it my way. So the way I would do it is if x if a of x is equal to 3, then turn brown end. Okay, all right. So now we've got walls. So then we only have to do the same thing for y. Oh wait, no, z. Alright, so now we've got a cup. But our cup's got a hole in the bottom, so we just have to fill in that last part. -3. Oops. Yeah, that's a lot easier thinking of it that way. They were thinking of it like the inverse way, and that was hurting my brain. Maybe I didn't learn what they wanted me to learn there, which is the problem. You've been good, Summer? Oh, I'm glad to hear it. It's only been a while. I haven't been playing a whole lot of games recently. Like, my life's been kind of topsy-turvy. But I'll be going to see Alexis fairly soon, actually. We've got, in 2 weeks, we've got a trip to Hawaii. So that's going to be really exciting. I think I really needed the break. And Vidal is going to be there too. We've got different shows and stuff booked, so yeah, it'll be really good, and it'll be a good trip for food too. Very tasty. Okay, so let's see what this one's doing. If y is equal to... If y is greater than 2, let's make that 0. Okay, so it looks like whatever's white, we can set that as whatever this color is, orange. Cool. And then if we make this, if it's greater than 0, and then change this to green. Ah, easy. And then we can go brown. Okay, so what do we want to change that to? Red? And then just say if Z is greater than 1, then return whatever this color is, dark blue. Okay, so that should be 0, I guess. And that shouldn't be dark blue, it should just be regular blue. There we go. We know how to work simple if statements. Alright, we're blazing through this tutorial. Ooh, that's an interesting shape. My goodness, look at that. It's like the formerly known as Twitter company symbol, logo. What do people call it? X? Is it pronounced X? I don't know. Alright, so we've got a runtime error here. It says, line 31 attempted to perform arithmetic on nil value. Watch out for typos. We spelled color differently, which ends up making the new variable instead of modifying color like we intended. Okay. Oh, okay, so it's introducing us to the idea of variables. Alright, so if we just get rid of that. Alright, and there's another typo here. Oh, okay. Well, that one's quite easy. It just wanted us to fix the typos. No, it's a pity, because this was an interesting shape, which I would have liked to have tried to do. Okay, so it looks like we've done all of the tutorials. Oh, we've got some email. Are these the ones that I've done? Alright. It's exciting to see a new player join the community. Great job finishing the tutorial projects. Here are a few more puzzles to try out next. Also, don't forget to sign up for CubeNet account if you haven't already. Okay, alright. Well, let's try out these next challenges first. Alright, so it wants us to build a staircase. This one might take some thinking to solve elegantly. Well, one of the things about this is that we know that if in a staircase, if the value of y is the same as the negative value of x, then we want there to be a cube there. And that holds true for all of the numbers. So let's see if we can do that. If x is equal to negative y, then return 1. End. Okay, alright. It's just solved it. Yeah. Easy. So unless it's a 50-foot bright sign on a rooftop in San Francisco keeping people awake, you don't recognize it. It did look a little similar. It was kind of reminiscent of it. It was a bit like the Twitter sign. Okay, so the interesting thing here is that we did the staircase, but this is kind of like a staircase but with another axis added in. Okay, so what if we... Let's try by doing the staircase again and then see where that gets us. Let's start with that. So if x is equal to y, then return what's this color? Green? Green. Okay, so now we've got our staircase in the XY plane. So now we need to make it a staircase in the ZY plane. So let's go if Z. You know what? We could just use the same. We can just use the same thing here. So we want Z is equal to Y. There we go. We got our diagonal snake. Hooray! You know, I swear that I'm not sponsored by Twitter or Elon Musk or whatever. And in fact, my opinions of them... Well, let's just say I won't comment on that. But but increasingly, it looks like a lot of these target outputs this game wants to make are more and more like the symbol of that company. Or maybe that's just something I'm seeing in my imagination. Alright. Interesting. Okay. No suspicious comments before getting through customs. Oh, I will try. I will try. Because I want to get into the country, and it used to be, if not the most welcoming country, I feel like America doesn't really care that much about random people outside of like terrorism or what have you. But these days, yeah, there's certainly a heightened level of like stranger danger, and you have to be careful about what you say and do, I think. Alright, so this one's basically like what we had before, except it's a staircase in all of the axes. So I think we could probably do the same thing we did before, except this time we'll make it absolute values. So let's say if the absolute value of x is equal to absolute value of y, then I'm pretty sure that's black. Alright, why is my code not running? Oh, wait. I typed return twice. Okay, so we're getting there. Alright, so we just have to do the same thing. Y and Z. There we go. We've got our Space Invader. I'm not going to use their names because I don't think their names are very interesting. Big X? It's definitely more like a Space Invader. So no suspicious comments before getting through customs. They're checking phones at the border? Are they really checking phones at the border? That's incredibly invasive of one's privacy. I don't support that at all. Yeah, very, very scary. And you know what? Like, if you were so motivated to do something nefarious in the country, the last thing you would do is leave information easily findable on your phone. Like, how stupid would you have to be, you know? Like, who are you going to catch, I guess, for me is the question. It does look like a Space Invaders alien. Yeah, it's totally a Space Invaders alien. Yeah, I get a little nervous at the border control, actually. I would say, of all the various countries I've been to, the US has been by far the most invasive, I would say. So, the times that I've crossed the US, they haven't always been like this, but they've been quite memorable, where they're the ones where they've spent the most time about asking me about what I'm doing there, my life, like how I met people and how they are related. Yeah, so it's just like, I think they've over the years gotten better at making it like more of a friendly, natural conversation. Yeah, a single bear flying alone. Yeah, I know that they specifically target solo travelers a lot more. Yeah, so I would just say the US is not a very welcoming place. At least in terms of the entry into the country. Okay, so here it's saying we can use the % to return the remainder after division. Okay, so that's interesting. it's doing a little more than I would have expected, but what we can do is if we do the remainder after division of 2, and we want that in the x-axis, I guess. Okay, and then we just want to shift that. Okay, so the remainder after division will let us figure out what the odd numbers are. So if you divide by a number and your remainder is 0, then don't draw that slice. But if it is, then you can draw a slice, and you know that that number is odd. That's basically what we did. So what is this? This is like a white honeycomb. Very good. Ooh, checkerboard. Pretty sure this is related to modulo. Basically, we want to know if x is even and y is even. Yeah, so that's what I was saying before. So we know that if you know, we can even add z to this. Right? There we go. So if by adding z to this, we've done a two-dimensional version of the checking if it's odd or even. Right, and then we just got to change this to black. All right. And then also we want to. They only want it to be in the slice in the middle. So let's say y is equal to 0. Whoops. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, alright. So this checks if it's odd. So we need to do another one. Return empty. If y is equal to 0 and no. Yeah, this needs to go inside. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we just needed to do it so that checking if it's odd only happens in the middle layer. That was checkerboard. We can play some chess, but a very small version of chess. I've actually met you in person, not a first time online meet anymore. Yeah, but I don't know whether that'll affect how sus they will be toward me. Because that's just what I'm saying. They'll have to take... I mean, I could say anything, right? They're just taking me for my word. I wonder if they're also, like, interested in, like, my personal safety as well. So, like, for instance, if I were to say, oh, I met this lady online, and she's amazing, but she keeps asking me for money because her father's really sick, and yeah, she sent me photos, but they look kind of weird, but no, that's fine. We've never had a video chat before, and yeah. I don't, would they like help me, or would they just be like, oh yeah, that's fine? Or would that be like ultra sus? I guess like my example's a little weirder, given that I'm male, but if has cancer and asks for $50 gift cards, right? Yeah, the doctor for her dad only accepts Apple gift card, in $500 denominations. Yeah, so would that, if it was sus in that way, I wonder if the border control would stop me, or if it's more like they only care about like the TSA general terrorism or whatever stuff. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. All right. Well, this one's interesting. Look at this. It's like a board of Skittles. Colors are just numbers. Okay, so what we can do... We can do return... Let's return x plus y and see what we get. Okay. And let's add 4. No? 8. Add 10. Yeah, so... I think because these are just numbers, they're all sequential. We can add the coordinate x, 1, y to the to our return value, and that'll give us the right color. And just coincidentally, the desired outputs happen to be like sequentially ordered. So you can see like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just recognize that sequence from the row down here. Okay, and then the last thing we need to do is we need to make sure that only do that if z is equal to 0. Hooray! Yeah, to me that's a Skittle block. All right, now we've got a cute table. Yeah, I like this one. All right, let's start with a blank slate. So what we want to do is let's create a plane to like a surface for the table. So we'll go if y is equal to 1, then return, I think it's brown. Cool. So we've got our table surface. So let's add our table legs. So our table legs are okay. So they're actually quite symmetric. So what we can do is say if the absolute value of x is equal to 2 and the absolute value of z is equal to 2, then return brown. So this should give us our legs. Okay, alright, so the only problem with my table legs is that they're sticking out for the top of the table. So we just need to add another condition here to say that if we need to make sure that y is less than 0. No, y is less than 1. There we go. And we've made our cute table. This is carpentry in the mathematics department. You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Tish. How did you find... so Alexis went to the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company recently. Did you... Tish is table in German? Ah, gotcha. Yeah, we went there last time, Alexis, when we were in San Francisco. Oh, there goes my Bezos box. Yeah, did they do the trivia with you again? Because they'll ask you a whole bunch of trivia, I remember. Alright, so we've done the intro challenges, where we are smart. Alright, so it was nice to meet you at the Retro Tech meetup. I haven't met anyone new who knows about Replicube in a while. I know lots of people are super into leaderboards and optimization, but I just like making fun, cute objects with it. Yeah, I want to make fun, cute objects. Here are a few simple ones I made. Give them a try. Oh, I like the names here. Strawberry slice cake. All right, let's bake a cake, everyone. All right. How do we want to start here? Let's let's start with making the sponge. So I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff because yeah, I like the comment here. This one makes me hungry. Nice. So the sponge is red. So let's go return red. Let's start there. And then what we want to do next is trim the cake to the right size. So notice that the cake is sliced in the z-axis. So we can go if the absolute value of z is less than 1, oops, I think I went a little overboard with my slicing. Let's try that. Alright, cool. So we've got our sponge set up. And now let's do the icing. No, let's do the cream layer in the center first. So if y oh, excuse me, if y is equal to 0, then return, what is this? What is this color? Peach? So we've got peach filling. There we go. Taking shape. And then we can do our next thing. Let's make our icing. So if y is equal to 3, or x is equal to -3, then return white. Oh, okay. So I did it in the wrong order, so let's move that one first. There we go. You always order the same thing at at the Bubblegum Shrimp. They were off their game this past week. No trivia, bad upkeep, and tables. Hostess had no clue what your VIP card entitled you to. Oh, that's a shame. Do you get something special for your birthday too? Alright, so our last thing that we need to do is bake the base. What's that, brown? So if y is equal to -3, then turn brown. There we go. There is your cake. Nice and strawberry. So you get a free $25 entree. Oh, that's nice. Did you end up getting it? I would be pretty upset if I didn't get it. Alright, so what we want here is You got your entree? Oh, nice. Shrimp scampies. Love the scampies. Alright. What's that? That's yellow? So we want to know if x is greater than 1. Let's start with that. If the absolute value of x, the absolute value of y. Oh, we want the inverse of that. Okay. Alright, now we've got our hourglass. Although to me it looks more like... It kind of makes me think of corn for some reason. Everything always goes back to food. Oh, a tiny duck. Oh, it's fun. Oh, you also got something at Red Lobster? Clam chowder, breaded shrimp, Alfredo linguine. Oh. Hey, you know, if only it were your holiday, your birthday in Hawaii, huh? You get all that free stuff there. Brownie a la mode. Hey, Masquerader, hello. I'm playing a programming game. Minecraft HD loading. Yeah. It might take a while, Masquerader. We're only doing 3x3 worlds in this version of Minecraft. Look at this duck. It's taking up all of our processing RAM. Alright, well... I'm not sure if there's an easy way, like a really efficient way to do this. I feel like this is just going to be, yeah, just manually hash it out, I think. Because I don't see any, like, mathematical symmetries or, like, shortcuts I could do. Alright, so let's say, yeah, let's build the body first. Okay, so the body's brown. So if let's start like saying if the absolute value of x is less than 2. Okay, all right. So now we've got the duck's body. And the absolute value of y is less than 2. Oh, wait. Let's add them together. No. What am I doing here? I don't even need to do it as complicated as I'm thinking, so let's... and y is equal to 0. Alright, so that's the body, and then it only goes between 1 and -2. So Z is greater than okay, then we can just shift that back 2? No, plus 2. I'm being way too complicated with this. Z plus 2. Z is greater than minus 2. Minus 3. Yeah, I tried to do it in one expression, Masquerader, but I guess thinking about it like that is the easier way to do it is just to do 2 expressions. Yeah, okay, there we go. It's a lot uglier though. Okay, so then we need the vertical slice. Okay. Oh, did you do Breaking Bear News? Okay, alright. So I'm using a new streaming thing, which means that I don't get to see the redeems. So is that... Yeah, is that what... so you redeemed Breaking Bear News on that story? Is that correct? Yeah, okay, alright. I'm sorry about that. Let me read that. Okay. You know what? Masquerader. I'm not even sure if I'm still set up for that, but we'll we'll give it a go. Gosh, it's been so long.
Bear news that barely matters. This is Breaking Bear News.
This is See the Bear with Breaking Bear News. Our top story for today. The Team Arizona Cardinals fan, Scruffy Pigeon from Hell, and his astounding teammate, Masquerader, they recently won their first Golden Rocket League Tournament Cup yesterday. They lost in the first round 6-2, but that fired the team up and made them do an excellent comeback with a 5-1 and a 4-1 in the finals. Veteran Scruffy couldn't hold his tears in the final game. It was his first tournament win since Season 12, and it is his word that he should have been born as a Cardinals fan. So this is See the Bear with Breaking Bear News. gosh. Did that work? I tried to add the like the video story as well, but I for some reason it wasn't working. Yeah, I'm severely out of practice with the Breaking Bear news. I'm sorry, that wasn't a very good one, Masquerader. I'll when I get back to Twitch, I'll refund your points. You know what? I was watching American sports for the first time in a long time. I think this was yesterday, actually. So I was with my with Bear Dad, and I was going to collect my passport in the city, and we had a few hours wait before we could have lunch. So we were sitting in a sports bar, and they had these enormous jumbo screens of all of the American sports, and these screens were like they were like the size of like tennis courts. They're huge. Like, not, it wasn't each screen was the size of a tennis court. Like, all of them combined was the size of a tennis court. That would be ridiculous if each one was a tennis court size. But yeah, it was still that's still enormous. Anywhere you looked up, you could see American sports. But I didn't get into it. Yeah, like American sports can be very, they're very stop-start, you know? Like American football, you don't tend to see a whole lot of action. And the primary one that was in focus was baseball. Yeah, it was just, not a lot happens, right? Or maybe it's me. It's so slow. Yeah, that was my thinking the entire time. I wanted to get into it because I know, a lot of people love it, but maybe there's just something about it that I don't understand. In Australia, cricket tends to be very popular. The cricket, it's also like a very stop-start, very similar to baseball. Alright. So we've got the duck's body, and that's cool. So let's add the neck. So the neck is like a vertical stick that goes up. If X is equal to 0 and Y is equal to 1, I think that's green. Whoops, I think that's Z. Okay, and then we want it to be and Y is greater than 0. Greater than 0. Greater than -1. There you go. There's our duck shaping up. And then we can add the beak. If X is equal to 0 and Y is equal to 2 and Z is equal to 2. Return yellow. We've got a quacker. So you can't watch baseball on TV. At the park it's fun because you people watch. Yeah. Hot dogs and garlic fries. At TV, yeah. Do you As I recall, you don't drink very much, if at all, do you, Alexis? So I feel like a huge part of the experience is the drinking. And I think for people like us, maybe we miss like a huge part of the appeal as a result. Yeah, you go for foods. Yeah, foods are better than alcohol. Alright, so it looks like the duck's got like a blue undercarriage, so let's add that. If x is equal to 0 and y is equal to -1, return blue. Oh, it's light blue. Is it? No. It's grey. Alright, and then we just have to add the legs. Let's go if absolute value of x is equal to 1, then return legs. Orange, return. Okay, and then we need to make it and z is equal to -1. I made it an emu. And y is equal to -1, or y is equal to -2. Look, we made a duck. Cute. So, Alexis, you say they play music, have entertaining things at the Jumbotron, and fireworks at the end of the night. Ah. Oh, Vidal, hello. Welcome into my... I'll say stream, but... How are you doing? You both are very much night owls, I've noticed. Vidal doesn't sleep, like... she stays up very late. And she tends to sleep similar time to me in a different time zone. But I hope you've been doing well. Our trip to Hawaii is coming up very soon, so all the Hawaii peeps are here. You're not getting up for Wookiees in the morning, so you're going to stay up. Ah, okay, alright. I did something similar today. I was supposed to play badminton, but because I've been getting sick from my vaccinations, I've decided not to do any exercise for a while. The vaccines made all of the existing pains in my body a lot worse, and I was concerned that I would hurt something if my muscles and stuff were acting up strangely. You were sleeping and you wake up and you notice someone was live. Oh gosh. Do you have like fellow streamer ESP, like you know, oh no, he's actually live, ah. I gotta get up and watch it. You absolutely don't have to. Sleep is better. Gosh. Yeah, so we've been doing a little bit of creating models, like little Minecraft models with maths and programming code. I just made a little duck here, so that's pretty cute. So nothing too exciting, Vidal. Yeah, so we'll be seeing Vidal in her hometown in Hawaii. It'll be really exciting. You fell asleep before bedtime. Guess you could call it a nap. You know, recently I find that's the most frustrating kind of situation. Because if I get like really tired, either because of I don't get my typical nap during the day, or if it's because I'm just so exhausted and I sleep like relatively early but not like super early, you then wake up like during when you would normally go to sleep, but you're like full of energy, and that to me is like the worst situation. For me, that's like if I get tired and knock myself out at around 7 p.m. and then I end up waking up at around 11 p.m. Ugh. that ruins me. So I'm sorry to hear that. That's typically for me the worst situation. It's been happening a lot more recently for me though. This is a fire escape, huh? Okay. Well, let's start by making the staircase. So, like before, when we were doing the "Thou shall not be named" application logo, we said that if x is equal to y, then return gray. And let's get rid of whatever this is. Alright, so there is... Okay, and then we want to do... we want to make it based on the z value. So if z is greater than 0, then do this. Alright, so now we've got our half of our staircase. So you fell asleep before bedtime, guess you could call it a nap. Luckily, you have the power of falling asleep, so you'll be able to fall back asleep when you need to again. Oh gosh, that's a good power to have. I usually just try and sleep whenever I can, which can be very unhealthy, I think. I do like a lot of sleep though. Okay, so our next thing we want to check is else if z is equal to 0, then else is that right? I don't know. What's this one? Pink? Red? And our last one we want to do is if... What is this? This is if x is equal to minus y, there we have our staircase. You'll probably be staying up and fall asleep later because that's more fun. Oh gosh. Alright, so I think I'm not sure if I asked you before, but do you have what are your favorite foods to eat, Vidal? Do you have particular preferences? So we're trying to line up the three of us. I think with Alexis, she's generally seems quite open to many different things. I would say I'm similar. Yeah, my favorite types of food would be like Italian and sushi, Japanese food. I'm not super into sweets, but I can do them. Yeah. So pizzas. Yeah, I like pizza. Pasta. Japanese curry. Alright, so now let's build a chair. So I think the best way to do this would be to carve out like a vertical wood block. Let's go if the absolute value of z is greater than 0 and absolute value of x is greater than 0. Orange. I did that the wrong way around. I think, right? 1? Yeah, okay. I did that the wrong way around. So you can usually find food you like anywhere, if you can avoid fish and seafood and vegetables. Do you think there's a lot of seafood in Hawaii though? That might be like quite prominent, right? I think with me, like, I don't particularly like vegetables, but if I have way too many like meat dishes, like just over and over again, I do feel like I would like to see a vegetable every now and then. So shrimp trucks everywhere. You're new to a lot of different types of food. You made a new friend at work who wants to do a once-a-week lunch at a new restaurant so you could try new things in place. Oh, okay. Alright, so we need to be careful to cater to your tastes, Vidal. How do you feel about... Yeah, do you like hamburgers, Vidal? Yeah, I think maybe it'd be a good idea if we talk about this like in our trip chat. What kind of foods are okay with people? Yeah, because I think by the sounds of it, Vidal wouldn't want to eat like some stuff. I would be fairly open enough to eat at most restaurants and pick something. Seafood is quite prominent. Shrimp is one of the ones you will eat. Okay. You can eat fish, but it's not your favorite. Gotcha. Alright. That's fair enough. The luau should work. They have American food and native Hawaiian food. Alright. What is American food, though? That's a good question. Alright, so let's go in here and say, let's cut out the legs of this chair. If x is equal to 0, or y is equal to 0, then turn empty. Oops. It should be Z. And Y is greater than -1. I did that the wrong way around. Alright, so we now cut out our legs. Yeah, I just haven't been to a buffet in a very long time, that's all. I'm not sure what a buffet looks like anymore. What would you normally have at the places you go to your friend with, Vidal? Is it like yeah, like steak places or restaurant, like hamburgers or salad places? Because we don't want to like stretch your food experiences beyond what you're comfortable with. Yeah, I imagine there wouldn't be too many moo cows on Hawaii. They need a lot of grazing space, which probably doesn't exist there. A $20 McDonald's hamburger? That sounds very depressing. $20 is a lot of money in Australia, like 20 American dollars. Okay, so let's cut out the block. If y is equal to 3, then return empty. Okay, so then we gotta cut out this this section here and leave the chair back. If Z is greater than 0, if Y is greater than 0, and how's that? Nope. Just need to make it a little bigger. Cut more of that chair out. All right, so we're almost there. So now we want to know if if x is if x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0 or y is equal to 1, then return empty. Oh, there's a chair. You're down to try new food. You lived in a small town in Idaho. Ah, okay, yeah. So different kinds of food weren't really there. You tried boba tea a couple of weeks ago and you found you loved it. You know, I'm not sure about boba tea myself. I've had it many times. But the starchy balls, I guess it's really like a textural thing. Like if you enjoy the texture, it's nice, but yeah. I'm not sure if I like it, but I understand it's a huge phenomenon. You got a ube shake with boba, and that was amazing. Oh yeah, what is an ube shake? I don't think I've heard of that. Yeah, I think if I go for like a sweet drink, I would go for something with a fruit flavor. That would be nice for me. Lychee is very nice. We have something called longan in Australia. It's very similar to lychee, but it's not as sweet. But I guess the aroma, like the fruity aroma, is a lot better in my opinion. I know that in Southeast Asia, longans are a lot more popular. Alright, so we're... Our last thing for this particular group of projects that we want to do is a strawberry. Let's take a look at what's inside here. Okay. Alright, so let's start by making our strawberry red. Yeah, this, even though this game's about like programming, it's making me think of food like non-stop. Okay, so we can tell that inside the strawberry there's like this light pink core. So let's make that first. If the absolute value of x is less than 2, the absolute value of y. Wait, it should be and absolute value of z is less than 2, then return pink, or is it peach? It looks like it's peach. Alright, so now we've got our core on the inside. There are these like spots on the strawberry, which I suppose they're not quite random, but they're kind of effectively random for the coding. So let's we can just say yeah, I'm not sure if there's a easier way to do it than this. So but I'll just do it the dumb way first. This is the dumb way to do it, but yeah, why not? If it works, then it's fine. So what's this one? -1, -1, 2. -1, -1, 2. What's this one? 1, 1, 2. And then we've got this one here, 2, 0, 0. And then we've got this one, 1, 1, -2. 1, 1, -2. And then we've got -1, -1, -2. And our last two little peach little spotty things on our strawberry. Zero, -2, -1. And 1, -2, 1. There we go. There's our kind of strawberry. So ube is a local flavor. Someone once talked about it being rich vanilla flavor. I don't know how to describe it, but you like it. Alright, well, sounds like I gotta try that with you, Vidal. I did start out making a lot of sushi, yeah. Sushi is one of my favorite foods, so that got me very hungry. Lots of Pinoy bringing the ube flavor traditions. It's very prevalent here in San Francisco. Ah, okay. Yeah, speaking of Filipino people, hey, welcome, Cian. How are you doing? Are you working today? Alright, so our very last thing is we gotta make our the leafy part of our strawberry. So if y is equal to 2, what color is that? Green? Green. Okay, so I just colored the entire surface, but what we actually want is if x plus y is less than did I do that right? No, z. X plus z. Oops, I need the inverse of that. Hooray! Now we got our strawberry. Delicious. With a nice little inside. Alright, looks like we've done all of our Alice Creations 1. Yeah, I could go for an ube lesson. Cake, ice cream fried all of the ways. Ooh, gosh. That sounds like a full meal, like all day. I wouldn't be able to eat anything after that, I think. You like ube ice cream, Suyen? Ah, nice. Well, it sounds like that's the thing to try. I'll have to try that. What is this game? So, in this game, we are trying to create the reference object displayed here using code, and I've been writing code here, and that's been producing pixels as output. And if I've got 3 different variables to work with, the coordinates, and if I use the coordinates right to create the image, I will get a picture that's similar to the output. But mostly we've been making like food, so like this one's a strawberry. Yeah, I've been working and pretending it's a game on stream. Yeah, I've been streaming my work. Yeah, so this is doing a lot of programming, which is what I used to do for work a long time ago, but I don't do that anymore. Working, that is. So I haven't used my brain in a very long time. Ooh. Ooh, it looks like we've got access to something called Voxel app. And we've got some new projects to do. I'm not entirely sure what the new thing added. What's this? Oh, free edit mode. Okay, so we could create anything that we want for people to try and replicate. Oh, that's interesting. That's pretty fun. Oh, my free edit projects. Ah, okay, here we go. I don't think I'm ready to create my original new stuff now, just yet. But for now, let's take a look at doing, continuing on with some of the stuff that they've recommended. Oh, looks like I've got 100 messages today with Restream. Oh, okay, thank you. It really gives you ideas of blocks to make on Minecraft, yeah. So we've got a cute doggo to make this time. We can build a doggo. That's pretty fun. This is the cutest animal you've made so far, it says. What is max? I gotta look that up. The maximum out of the 2, and then return that. Let's take a look at documentation. returns the larger of A and B. Ah, okay. Rounds a decimal down to an integer. So return max Z. I don't even understand what this is doing. So this is the Y. This is the Y axis. So okay. All right, so if the Y is greater, then do Y, but otherwise do Z. Let's say this is Z. What would happen? Okay. Yeah, I think I was getting a handle with a lot of the different math functions, but then the max function's breaking my brain right now. Because it's assigning a color and it's also checking the coordinate at the same time. So I'm trying to think of how that would work. You can use max to make boxes and frame shapes. Okay. So this is the example. I mean, I could use my typical way of doing it, and it wouldn't be too hard. But I think they want me to do it in a more efficient way. And I'm still not like fully convinced about the max function. You call shenanigans on his tail being cropped? Yeah, it looks like a little bulldog, because their like tails like really aggressively curl backwards. It's like a 3D Picross game. I don't think I've played Picross. Karma for breaking mine. I'm not sure I follow Alexis. Dobermans get their ears clipped. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, like the thing with the max function is that it's affecting the variable. Unless I use it in an if statement. Let's try that. As an example, if max of let's see what happens if we do that, for instance, and we get rid of that. Okay, so that could be useful. So if max, or what? If the maximum value of x or y is greater than 1, then return... okay. So we can definitely get L shapes. What if we do... I used to be paid to do this. Okay, so we're just exploring what we can do with this max function. Okay. Oh, this would have been a much easier way to do the sushi. Oh, good night, Alexis. Hope you sleep well. And yeah, it was Alexis very recently had her birthday, so we'll say formally happy late birthday to you, Alexis. And hope you sleep well and dream of many delicious foods. Oh, yeah. every you're only as old as you feel. That may be a bad thing, but you still have more birthday freebies to redeem. Yeah, I feel increasingly old, but I also feel like I'm okay with it. Alright, good night, Alexis. It was lovely having you here. I think Hawaii is going to be the old person's meetup. But that's fine. We don't like having young people around. That's just a whole bunch of bother that we don't want. Okay, yeah, again, I'm still kind of struggling with the max function, but yeah. Let's see what happens if I do that. Okay. Okay, so this is how I can make a block. Max absolute. And then if we make the Y smaller. No. Okay, so I figured out that I can make blocks using max ABS absolute X and Y, but the problem with that is I don't understand it. Okay, so if it's basically saying, it's basically making the L shape, which is what the max function does, and then if I change the condition, I can invert it, and because it's ABS, it means it's in both the X and Y, both directions. Okay, alright, so that does make sense. Now, how do I make it thinner? Alright, I think if I can figure out this dog using the way they intended me to solve it, then I'll call that the end of the stream, because I've definitely learned something today. All the other stuff was just like remembering what I used to do. Because I think if I go yeah, so that will shift it up and down. So what I want to do is actually squeeze it, flatten that little doggy. Yeah, I don't get to control both axes. Yeah, this controls how big it is. Yeah, I think instead I'll just say and y is less than 0. Less than 1? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a shortcut, but yeah, I do think if I want to make a rectangle, no, sorry, a cube, then I can use the max function. But if I want to make a rectangle, I'll need to add another condition. So there isn't a way to squish or elongate the rectangle using max alone. I think that's true. That's something I need to think more about. It's kind of breaking my brain. Alright, and now we got to get rid of this this front part here. And Z is less than 3. Alright, so now we got the doggo's body. Hooray! Hey, you know what? What would be nice if I didn't do that? Let's make it a regular sized doggo, like a cube tube doggo. These words I'm saying are hilarious. Basically, we're going to get a doggo body that's cubed, and we're going to extrude it. Okay, as normal. But I was trying to make it squished when we actually need like a cube here, but take chunks out of it. So we need to cut the leg chunks out of it. Yeah, so that's yeah, let's do that instead. So then we're actually making use of the cube. So we need to shift the Y down one. Is that right? I think that's right, yeah. So that's exactly what we want. Nice. So Ian, you're back? You're sorry you went to go see your friend. She complained about how to do an online report. Oh, okay. I hope everything's okay, Sian. Are you, do you have a day off now? Do you have a break? Or is this still work time, Sian? Coding breaks your brain, Vidal says. It makes sense, but it makes me think too hard to write it out. It's easier to understand what someone else is writing. Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Although, in my workplace, it got to the point where people started writing extremely elaborate things. And sometimes, when it gets that complicated, it's easier to start from scratch. That's what I personally found. But for short things, it's easier to have somebody else write out something. Especially if they're complicated expressions like this. Okay, so the next thing we can do is... Let's build a square. Try using the max function again. And we'll use the second color that he's provided. So what's that? Orange? look how thick that dog is. We've wrapped the sushi around a dog. Oh, it's a hot dog. It's totally a hot dog right now. Actually, what I needed to do was I could just use this one. I could have used the same square because what we need to do is no, that's not right. No, we need... Yeah, this max function's really hurting my brain. Because I think it's making cubes, but what I actually want is a flat surface. Yeah. Let's do a flat surface the regular way, which is if the absolute value of x is less than 2, okay, and absolute value of z we can just say z less than 3. And y is equal to -3. There we go. We did it. Hooray! Nice. Alright, so now let's chop out the bottom of the dog. This is sounding increasingly macabre. Wasn't it making L shapes originally? Ah. You know what? You're right, Videl. You're right. What axis is that? Y? Let's get rid of the Y. Yeah, so if I did like an L shape like here, then that's like most of the dog done, right? Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's good. Let's is there a commenting function here? I'll have to look that up. Yeah. Let's just keep this stuff for now. Yeah, I'll try and make an L shape like Videl's suggesting, because that seems like the intended solution. I feel like. Yeah, so I've forgotten how to use the max function. So if max y, then return brown. Let's greater than. Wait, what axis do we want? We want the z axis. We want the x axis. Okay, so then we can do minus y. Yeah, okay. So here we've got an L shape already. Because dogs are all L shapes. Now, in fact, I want to lift up the Y to where it's 0, right? Yeah, there we go. And then Z is... You know, Videl, I think you've helped me understand the the point of the max function. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, okay. So now we're already actually fairly close. So then we can just go and the absolute of x is less than 2. And z is not equal to 3. Yeah, see, that's already like nearly the answer. Cool. And that's all done in one little expression there. Okay, alright. Jeez, Vidal, you're smart. You should be doing programming. Okay, so now let's chop the dog's legs. Okay. So we can do if max. Yeah, I should put this before. If max ABS X ABS Y. So wait. We want Y and Z is greater than 2, then return empty. Okay, 3. So the thing with making squares like this is they always have to be an odd number. I've got an even-sized gap here, though. Yeah, so we're already fairly close. I don't know how to make an even-sized gap, but can you absolute the number to an even? Well, let's say you actually the max of Z yeah, I just need another way of putting putting a value in here that makes it limit it to this side. I'm not sure if I can put a if function in here. Yeah. Or I could just say or Z is equal to -3. No. Yeah, I think I'm confusing myself now. We're definitely getting pretty close. Yeah, programming is hard. let's leave that part for now. We can fix the bottom part of his feet. So if we can go, if y is equal to -3, then return orange, else return brown. Okay. So we've gotten a little closer. Now, if max I'm trying to make a square shape from a function that only does L shapes. That's not gonna. That's not gonna work. Yeah, that's something I'll need to look up, how to get a even sized shape out of the max function. If I could figure that out, then that would make things a lot easier. And then we can go can decimals be used to get even? Let's see. Let's do it on the z-axis. Yep, that was the answer, Videl. Oh boy, you are very smart. Oh my gosh. How did I get paid to do this in the past? Okay, so we definitely learned a lot here. This will be useful as when I play this game in the future. Okay, so now let's cut out that bottom section of the dog's legs. If I think we can use another max function here, right? Or max. Yeah. What axis we want? The y-axis and the z-axis. Okay. really want to see is like, oh, what it would look like if I commented this out. And then I can see what the shape would turn out to be. I wonder if there's a commenting function in here. Let's look that up. I think it's probably time I find that out. Okay, so if I do... Okay, here we go. Okay, I don't need my old stuff anymore. So if Z okay, so we want minus y and then minus 1. Yep, I think that will work. So let's get rid of this. And then we only want this if x is equal to 0. There we go. Pretty cool. Now we got dog's legs. And, importantly, we learnt things about maths. And we also learnt that Vidal is very smart. Yeah, programming is very hard. So many variables. This actually isn't that bad, Suyen. This one's pretty clean. All right, so we're pretty close. So I think we can finish the dog. Let's see what we got here. We can do L shapes, but the L shapes go all of the way across. Let's just try. Let's see, max. Z minus Z. Y is greater than 0. And x is equal to 0. Return orange. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good actually for the tail. So we just need to make the tail smaller. I think that's it, right? And then we can shift the tail down 1y. Whoops. That didn't seem to work. Plus 1y? x, and then and y, absolute of y is wait, if y is less than 3 and y is greater than 0, and z is less than -2. No? 3. -1. It's a little bit of trial and error. There we go. Now we got its little tail. Cool. All right, we're nearly there. Next, let's get the yeah, let's get the next orange bits done. Okay, so that looks like another L shape. So L shape is max of negative and negative y. I think is going to be the answer. Yeah, so that's correct, but we need to move it up. 7? No, 7's too much. 5? That's also too much. 3? 0. And then we need to shift the Z by 1. Nice. Yeah, I should put this one inside here where the... okay. I already had a function to make sure it's within the dog's width, but yeah, let's not worry about that then. Okay, and then we want y is greater than 0. And then, and Z is greater than 1, 2. All right, there we go. Very close. It looks more like a llama right now. Okay, now we just need to draw a straight line, so we can do that by if AVS of x less than 1, z is equal to 3. Almost. Very close. Alright, now we just need to trim the we just need to give the dog a haircut is the last part. If z is equal to 2 and y is equal to 3, and now we just need to define the ears. Wait. Hooray, we've got a dog! I could have done that using the techniques I used to know, but thankfully Videla is here and she's helped me learn a few things. So this in particular was quite interesting. So we can create boxes now using the a max function of absolute values. That's very interesting. I would used to put like if statements in there. Like you can also solve it by using if statements. So like you could go if x is within this value and then nest it down and go if y is within that value, and then you'd be able to create boxes. But now using the max function you can just do that in one line, which is that is very interesting. Very cool. I learned that. And in general, max is useful for L shapes, so we've been using L shapes quite a lot because the tail was an L shape. Yeah, so this is like mathematical sculpting, which is really cool. Yeah, this game's pretty interesting. All right, I think we'll call it the end of stream here. But this has been really fun. I think I'll probably do some more of this at some point. Fairly soon. I haven't been streaming for a long time. I've gone through a lot's been going on in my life, so I really haven't had a chance to. Yeah, it is pretty fun. Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining in on the stream. I'm not sure how friendly this is to view. Yeah, if it's interesting doing programming and then having that as a stream, but I certainly really enjoy it, so I'm happy to continue doing it. So yeah, I hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye everybody.